Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
So today, we're looking into something pretty out there. Hypno-channeling.
Right. Specifically, we're digging into a session from the Hypnovibes YouTube channel.
Yeah, Hypnovibes. The hypnotist is Naomi, and she's working with someone named Jessica.
Exactly. Jessica's the one under hypnosis acting as the channel, you could say.
And they're trying to tap into the energy of a student named Preston.
That's the focus, yeah. Trying to understand why he seems unhappy, why he struggles a bit with others in their group.
Okay, so that's our main question, really. What is this channeled energy coming through Jessica? Tell us about Preston.
And maybe what else pops up during the session, about energy, connections.
For you listening, this might offer, a different way to think about personal challenges. Maybe those unseen factors we sometimes sense.
Definitely food for thought.
All right, so let's get into it. How does the session start? What's the first thing they pick up about Preston?
Well, Naomi asks about his energy, and pretty much right away there's this feeling of negativity, unhappiness. And Naomi initially wonders, could it be family stuff, maybe issues with the wife, just initial thoughts?
Just throwing ideas out there.
Right.
But then Jessica, as the channel, takes it somewhere else.
Yeah, she does. She suggests it's deeper, like an anger rooted in a past life.
A past life. Wow, okay.
Apparently a past life where he was murdered.
Murdered.
Oh.
Okay, that's heavy.
It is, and the idea presented is that this past trauma is really significantly impacting how he feels now.
So the feelings from way back then are sort of bleeding into his current life.
That's the theory being explored here, yes. That unresolved energy carrying over. It's a concept you find in some spiritual circle.
Right. And does that connect to why he struggles with people? Why he keeps to himself?
It seems to. The channeling suggests this past experience led to a really deep mistrust of others.
That actually makes a certain kind of sense, doesn't it? If you believe in that framework. Betrayal, violence. It could make you wary.
Exactly. It paints a picture of someone carrying a heavy burden from, potentially before this lifetime.
Is there more detail, like why he was killed in that past life?
There's a mention that, yes, there was a reason he was killed. It wasn't random, apparently.
Okay.
But the key point seems to be the emotional fallout, that intense feeling of being wronged, that energy. It was never resolved.
So it's stuck, in a way.
That's how it's presented, like an emotional echo that's still playing out.
So what can be done? Does the channeling offer any advice on how to help Preston?
Interestingly, the guidance is quite hands-off.
Oh.
Yeah, the message seems to be that Preston needs to figure this out for himself.
Really? So no intervention?
Not effectively anyway, not until he's personally ready to face it. The sense is that trying to push him won't work.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Wanting to help someone but realizing they have to be the one to take the step.
It really highlights that idea of personal readiness. Sometimes you just have to wait until the person opens that door themselves.
Makes sense. Okay, so the session moves on from Preston specifically.
It does. Naomi brings up something else. Extraterrestrial connections.
Okay, like within their group.
Yeah, she sort of references her own connection and Jessica's and asks if others in the class have some type of connection too.
Some type. Implies she thinks it's possible. Or even likely.
It seems that way, yes. She even mentions the Greys specifically as a possibility for others.
The Greys, right. Common figures in that whole area.
Exactly. And the channeled response through Jessica is interesting.
What does it say?
It says that, yes, some younger students, not in their immediate class, apparently do have these connections, possibly with the Greys.
But not everyone.
No. It specifically mentions their instructor, Caleb, doesn't have that kind of connection.
So it's not a uniform thing across the board.
No.
Some people might have these sensitivities or connections, others don't.
That seems to be the implication, a diversity of experience even within this group, exploring energy work.
Interesting. What else came up? There was something about a mirror.
Oh, right, yes. Jessica mentions that she feels the mirror in the ladies' changing room has somehow changed recently when she looks at it.
Changed how? Physically?
Not necessarily physically. It's more of an energetic feeling. She says the more attention she gives it, the more it feels like it's exchanging energy with her.
Exchanging energy, like interacting.
Yeah, almost like the focus itself creates or intensifies this energetic feedback loop with the mirror.
That's unusual, like the mirror is responding to her attention.
That's the perception described. It fits with ideas in some energy practices where intention and focus can influence or interact with the environment, even objects.
Okay, so from mirrors to the overall class energy, you mentioned Jessica had a positive feeling about that.
Yeah, overall, she feels the energy of the group, including Preston's, is actually rising. She sees this as a good thing.
Rising energy, and she used an analogy.
She described the effect of their daily exercises in this high energy as creating something like a portal.
A portal. What does
Yeah.
that mean in this context? Like an opening to something.
Kind of, yeah, like a space of heightened energy that might allow for, I don't know, different states of awareness, maybe connections beyond the everyday.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, is it?
Yeah.
There was a caveat.
Exactly. The channeling points out that just because it's a portal doesn't mean only positive energy comes through. Sometimes negative energy is part of it too. It's seen as necessary, even for balance, and to push towards what they call a higher realm.
So negative energy isn't necessarily bad, just part of the balance.
That's the idea. It needs to be acknowledged, sometimes expressed. Jessica's own recent argument with Preston was used as an example.
The argument she had, how does that fit in?
It was framed as needing to let it out. Like suppressing that conflict wouldn't have served the overall energy balance. It needed expression.
Right, that makes sense. Sometimes you do need to clear the air, even if it's uncomfortable. It raises that question for you, the listener. How do you deal with that stuff? Conflict, difficult feelings, do you let it out or hold it in?
It's a good question. This perspective suggests letting it out, constructively, hopefully, is part of the process.
Okay, one last area then. Jessica's feelings about sparring class.
Right. So she likes the class overall, but she really dislikes the sparring sessions.
Why is that?
She says she feels fear during sparring, and she feels like conflicts often come up then. It just doesn't feel good to her.
Energetically, it doesn't work for her like the other parts.
Exactly. She doesn't feel it serves her, energetically speaking. It feels more like, well, conflict.
But there is some guidance offered on that too, a way to reframe it.
Yes. The suggestion was, instead of focusing on the fear or the conflict aspect, to try focusing on expressing courage during the sparring.
Ah, okay. Shifting the focus from fighting against something to embodying a positive quality.
Precisely. It's about the intention behind it. See it as a chance to practice courage, not just a fight.
And Jessica recognized that she does tend to focus on the negative side, the competition.
She acknowledged that, yeah, that her focus tends to go there.
It's such a simple shift, isn't it? But potentially really powerful. How just changing your internal focus can change the whole experience.
It really can. It's a reminder of how much our perception shapes reality.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways from this session.
Well, definitely Preston's situation, the idea that present unhappiness and isolation could be deeply linked to unresolved past life trauma, specifically that feeling of being wronged after being murdered.
Right. And the idea that healing that might require his own readiness.
Then there was the mention of extraterrestrial connections, possibly varying among people in the group.
The mirror thing, too.
Yeah.
That interesting idea of an energetic exchange based on focus.
Yeah. And the class energy as a kind of portal, needing that balance of positive and negative, allowing for expression.
And finally, Jessica's sparring the power of reframing a challenge by focusing on a quality like courage instead of fear.
Those seem like the main threads.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Yeah. How much are unseen things, past stuff, subtle energies, whatever you want to call them, influencing how you feel, how you interact with people?
It's definitely provocative.
And what about those situations you find tough? Could shifting your perspective, maybe focusing on courage or patience or something else, actually change how you navigate them?
Good questions to ponder. If you want to explore this kind of thing further, the Hypno Vibes channel is out there on YouTube.
And Naomi Shu, the hypnotist, she also wrote a book, didn't she? The Next Level You.
That's right. It apparently delves more into consciousness and this kind of channeled insight. Might be worth checking out if this resonates.
So yeah, this has just been one glimpse, one perspective from this particular channeled session.
Absolutely. It's about understanding personal challenges, maybe seeing energy in a different way. We hope it's given you something interesting to think about. Keep exploring, stay open.
Very good. Thank you for being here. And today I just have a specific question regarding some students. And this particular one, his name is Preston. So what you can say about his energy?
He's not very happy with himself.
It's because, let's say, his family?
Past life issues.
So I feel he not just a little bit unhappy, he carries negative energy and anger.
From his other life, yes.
I see. I'm thinking what I can do with this, because he's not probably mature enough to understand that he needs healing.
He's not, but he's also meant to deal with it on his own.
Meaning?
Because he was murdered in his past life, or life has very strongly correlated with his current life. He feels wronged.
Ah, so he was murdered because he did something wrong?
He feels wrong.
Ah, any suggestions?
No, because he has to figure it out for himself. And that's the reason why he doesn't want to associate himself with other people.
Ah,
Because there's a huge mistrust.
so he doesn't trust.
No.
I see. I never, of course, I wouldn't know, but I felt this, what you just said, very strongly.
He doesn't trust because he was killed by someone.
But the person killed him for a reason.
Right.
But he was not.
But that energetic emotion was so strong before he passed. It wasn't ever resolved.
I see. But he has to learn.
Yes.
And there's not much we can do with this when he's taking
No,
class.
Unfortunately.
Right. I see. And another question is, anyone in our class has some type of extraterrestrial connections?
What do you mean by some type?
Let's say me and Jessica, we have those connections. And
For example?
let's say with the Greys, I know they're not even extraterrestrials.
So you're asking if someone knows another set of Greys or the same set of Greys.
Oh,
Some younger kids do, but they're not in your guys' class.
I see. So let's say Instructor Caleb.
No.
And the mirror in the room, ladies' changing room, I feel recently it did not change much when I look at it.
Yes, because the more you pay attention to it,
Oh,
the more it feels like it's changing.
the more I pay attention to.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. And besides, let's say this Preston, everyone else, I feel the energy there is going up. And that is such a nice thing to feel. And it's almost like because there's a lot of energy going on and we are doing this kind of a exercise every day.
Yeah.
So it's like a portal.
Right, but don't think that there can only be good energy. Sometimes there needs to be some negative energy to balance it out. There needs to be negative energy to push it into a higher realm as well.
I see. So for example, yesterday I had this argument with Preston and I felt I just need to let it out.
Yes, that could be one thing.
To make him realize something.
That could be.
I see. Very good. Anything else you want to let me know?
Anything else you want to let me know?
I like the class very much. But I have to say, I just don't like I'm not, the sparring class is not my favorite.
What about it is not?
What?
What about it is not?
Because I still have some fears. Or not just fear, I feel it's conflicts. So that is not that pleasant for me, even though I do understand it's a sports. But I don't feel that is the energy I prefer the most. And I couldn't really, I tried to look at it from different perspective, but I still feel it does not serve me that much. But I can do it. But I cannot love it.
Well, what is it that you want to express
You mean now?
in
Or-
sparring?
Potential? Courage?
So why don't you focus on that instead of looking at it as if it's a conflict?
That's right. I can do that. Just focus on that. Yes. I think my focus is more like the negative part, the competition part. Very good. And thank you for this reminder. Sometimes it's very simple, but we just don't do. And I will speak with you again soon. Thank you.